Hey guys, and welcome back to the game room. This is just a quick pickups video showing a pickup that I bought this week. I went to Weston-super-Mare and went back to MT Games, which is a really cool video gaming, retro gaming shop that's down there, and saw this in the window, in the display cabinet, the NeGcon from Namco. Now I remember reading all about this controller in PlayStation magazines back in the day, and I also remember seeing, you know, the NeGcon logo on the back of a lot of the PlayStation boxes. You can see there it is on the back of Ridge Racer Revolution. So I thought, well, okay, let's pick this up. It looks interesting, and it sounded pretty intriguing back in the day. So here it is. Here's the controller itself. You can see you've got your directional pad, your start button, you've got your shoulder buttons. One of them, I think, is analog and actually has a bit of travel, and the other one is digital. I'm not sure which way around it is. Might be that one, actually, that's the analog one. And you've also got these two red colour buttons marked 1 and 2. These also have quite a bit of travel to them, as you can see if I press them down, because these buttons are also analog, and you've got these A and B buttons that are standard digital buttons, and you'll notice that, of course, you've got this this piece all the way around the middle of the controller. That's because the NeGcon's party trick, and its main reason, I think, for being with us, is because it's a twist controller. And that's exactly how it goes. It's really awesome, actually, when you start using it. But I'll come on to that in a minute. So if we quickly compare that to a standard PlayStation controller, so you can see there's a lack of a select button on the NeGcon. Of course, the symbols on the PlayStation controller are not on the NeGcon, and you don't have the L2 and R2 shoulder buttons either. So that's sort of the main difference. And of course, this doesn't twist either for the controls. So I've got a few games that are compatible with it. In fact, quite a few than I expected. Mostly driving/racing games, including Formula 1 98. Even though it doesn't say NeGcon, it mentions SLEH 0003, which of course is also written on the NeGcon box. There, look, you might just be able to make that out. So it works even with Formula 1 98. It doesn't help with the handling, unfortunately. The handling of this game still isn't particularly good. But strangely, as you'll see, this is Tekken 2. And it's also mentioned on the back of the Tekken 2 box. The thing is, it doesn't actually do anything in Tekken 2. In terms of, it works as a controller. So say, for example, you know, using the directional pad to move your fighter and using the buttons to punch, kick, etc. Quite why you'd want to use these that have got loads of travel and not have the quick sort of responding buttons like these two at the top here is beyond me. You wouldn't want to use that for something like Tekken or a fighting game. So yeah, strangely, the twist control it basically does nothing in Tekken 2 at all. So it says it's compatible only for the basic use, but I wouldn't want to try and use this for a fighting game. I understand this is also compatible with another Namco title, which is Air Combat/Ace Combat 2. It's a game that I'm interested in, so I'll pick up and see how this controls the plane in that game. I'm looking forward to actually giving that a go. So about this controller, I've used this in Ridge Racer Revolution. It was brilliant, absolutely awesome after I'd sort of calibrated it and set it up. So much fun. It's really nice being able to sort of control quite precisely the degree of steering angle, if you like, the degree of turning angle that you want to actually have on the controller. It can get quite confusing. There were times when I was sort of going, oh, which way should I twist? And I was crashing into the walls on Ridge Racer Revolution. But other than that, it's really awesome. I played Formula 1 97 with it as well, which is strange because if you look at the back of Formula 1 97, absolutely no mention anywhere of the Namco NeGcon or the SLEH 0003, but it works on this game. And the reason that, yeah, that maybe isn't so much of a surprise is if you look at the predecessor, you'll notice here it says SLEH 0003. So it works on the original Formula 1 game, the predecessor to Formula 1 97. So that's obviously why it works on 97 as well, and of course it works on 98. On the PlayStation 2, yes, this will work on the PlayStation 2, but it's my understanding that it's only really compatible with one game, and that has to be a Namco game, doesn't it? And that Namco game is Ridge Racer 5. So, just to kind of sum this up and wrap this up, I really do like this controller. It's really good, especially when you use it for the intention, which I think is for the driving games. It works really, really well. Even with games like Toka Touring Car Championship, where The handling's quite snappy, and it can be quite tricky, and it can catch you out. This is actually pretty good when it comes to playing with Toga. I quite like it. In fact, it's better for me than trying to use the analog sticks on the DualShock analog controller. The only real negatives are, of course, these buttons are analog, and, you know, sometimes you're holding your thumb down on it. My thumb in particular, probably through getting old, my thumb starts to ache and starts to hurt where I'm having to hold that down for so long. And it gets to a point where it's really difficult then to switch over to the brake, to actually brake and slow the car down, or the ship if I'm playing Wipeout 2097. The directional pad is, well, it's functional. That's the best way to use it. It doesn't work all that well, which is why I said you wouldn't really necessarily want to play Tekken or any other fighting game or anything that uses the D-pad. You really would just want to use this with driving games. Yes, it works with Gran Turismo, and I tried it with Gran Turismo 2 as well last night. It also works with Destruction Derby 2, but obviously doesn't work with the original Destruction Derby, because I think that predates the existence of this controller. But yeah, so other than the D-pad, the shoulder buttons will take some getting used to as well. And of course, my thumb hurting, again, probably due to old age, with these two buttons. This controller is really, really good, guys. So if you're still into your PlayStation gaming, your old school original PlayStation gaming, you like your racing games, driving games, I really do recommend picking this up, because it's a really, really cool controller. So thanks for watching this insight into the NeGcon, guys. Hope you found this one interesting, and I'll catch you again soon.